like realize is that if you have the ability to change your circumstances in which you are unhappy, you should definitely do that. You should definitely.
Say, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Any other job site. Post your next job. She's retarded. She didn't even say it. Free. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm not retarded. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Leah, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we will be talking about why I am transferring Storritime, but instead of regular Storritime, it's Storritime, like with my name, Tori. I thought it was kind of cute. Storritime plus advice. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. We have 50 subscribers, guys. Like, I'm sorry for yelling, and you might not think 50 subscribers is a lot, but oh, the wind is wilding. But to me, I started in February at 0, and it's now May, and I'm at 50, which, I don't know, that just does something to my soul. That actually means people are watching. That actually means people like my personality and like what I have to say. I'm working on a why I started this YouTube video. I'm working on updating my channel so it's easily accessible, you know, represents more of my brand and who I want to be and what I convey and what I bring to this platform. My main reason for my vlog is to do college and lifestyle vlogs. So with school being over right now, I'm kind of not running out of college material, but day in my life material. So I'm trying to figure out what lifestyle portion of my vlog do I want it to be, like health and clean eating and fitness. I'm on that kind of journey right now. Skincare, cystic acne, I'm on that journey. I've been on that journey. Whew, I've been on that train for a while, honey.
Spirituality, spirit, religion,
and just my connection and my journey with God. So yeah, just comment down below what you are interested in me doing. Mia wants me to do pranks, so I am considering doing pranks. So just comment down below whatever you want my lifestyle portion to be, and I'll consider it. So for today's video drink, every video I will now have a drink with me. So for today's video drink, I have some blueberry green tea made by Yogi in this cute little mason jar. You know, you gotta save the turtle's glass. So good. It's just lemon, honey, and then the blueberry Yogi tea. So without further ado, let's get into this. The main theme of this video is I'm transferring from Howard. I just finished my freshman year of Howard University last week. I took my last final. I am done with my freshman year of college. I will not be returning to Howard fall 2020. I'm transferring from DC, which breaks my heart, but I just felt like it was the best decision for me. So the main theme of this video is I'm transferring for Howard because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at Howard, and you know, when I moved to DC, I was 17. I graduated high school at 17. I moved to DC at 17. My birthday's in August. Whoop whoop, Leos. And it was really a shock. Like, the biggest obstacle was realizing and coming to the understanding that I wasn't happy and getting to the root of why I wasn't happy. Like, I couldn't just say, oh, I wasn't happy, I want to transfer. Like, that decision weighed heavily on me. So I guess we'll talk about why I chose Howard in the first place and go from there. Yeah, so basically I've always known that I wanted to go to school out of state. Like, even in middle school, I've always wanted to go to school up north. I wanted to get as far away from Louisiana as possible. I love Louisiana, it is my home, but I've always just wanted to branch out. Senior year of high school comes, I start applying to colleges. I applied to 6 colleges. Some of them were in the state of Louisiana, some of them, like 3 or 4 of them, were out of state. And basically it came down to Howard and the University of Alabama. Now, if you're an LSU fan, you're a Tigers fan, please don't come for me, okay? Please. The main reason I wanted to go to Alabama was like my dream school. The reason sense of like the campus was beautiful. I love elephants. My favorite color is red. I just always wanted to go to Alabama. So I applied to all my colleges through Common App, and one of the biggest mistakes I made with Common App is that I didn't look closely enough at the names of the schools. So when I was applying early to make sure that I got the scholarships that I needed to get for Alabama, I ended up applying to the wrong Alabama. But so like LSU, there's LSU Eunice, LSU Shreveport, LSU New Orleans. I ended up applying to the wrong Alabama. So January comes around, February comes around, I'm getting my acceptances, and I finally realized, oh crap, I didn't apply to the University of Alabama. So I call them, get my application into them as soon as possible, call them, and they're like, basically no scholarship money, but they still charge me out of state fees. So when it boiled down to it, I had to choose between the University of Alabama and Howard University. Now Howard University costs roughly like $50,000 a year, but they gave me a little bit over half of that, like a lot over half of that in scholarships, whereas the University of Alabama, I had no scholarships, plus they were charging me out of state fees. So it came up to like $45,000 to go to the University of Alabama. And so basically at the end of the day, like logically in my mind, I was thinking like, okay, if I'm going to move, I'm gonna move. I'm not gonna move, you know, right next door for basically $50,000 when I can go to Washington DC, the city that I love, for $50,000. So yeah, that's basically how I ended up choosing Howard. It was money. It basically came down to the numbers. And so I love DC. I've been to DC 2 or 3 times before college. I was heavily involved in beta in middle school and high school, and like one of our trips, one of our summits was in DC, and so we spent like a week and a half there touring and doing fun things and having seminars, and that's when I really fell in love with DC. So of course I was like, great, I can move to DC. I can do it, great. So I choose Howard, and that's how I ended up going to Howard. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. The biggest lesson I learned from that, I guess, would be to go with your gut, go with your heart, even if it doesn't make sense logically. That's one of the things I've really been like learning through my journey with Christ, is that, you know, sometimes I can be a logical thinker. I can get caught up in like the statistics of things and like, you know, what logically makes sense, what scientifically makes sense, but that's not how it works with God. He is more faith and trusting and believing in Him, and as the more I lean towards that, the more I see that things don't always make sense, and I'm becoming okay with things not making sense. So major, a little parched. Major, I'm a political science major. That was not hard for me to choose. If you want me to make a broader video about majors and how to choose and what to choose, link down below or comment down below, and I'll definitely do that. But just to touch on it, my major is political science at Howard, and at my new school. I will be revealing my new school at the end of the video, so you need to stay tuned. So I guess we'll get into more why I decided to transfer. Again, it wasn't a light decision that I've made. This is not me bashing Howard. This is not me bashing DC. I love DC. Like, I can see myself living there and working there one day. In terms of Howard, like, it just wasn't the place for me, as I said in my last video. And everybody says that, you know, who you think transfers, and like, you really don't think about the psyche behind it. Like, what does that really mean? Like, how do you decide this isn't a place for me? So I found out pretty quickly. So maybe like September, October, I realized like I wasn't happy. The environment wasn't for me. Again, check out my last video. I go in depth on the environment. Oh, we're getting a package? Oh, the UPS truck just passed up my house. I'm really sad about that. Yeah, so check out my last video. The environment really wasn't for me. Like, wasn't for me. I've always been a loner, so like, not a loner, but I'm very outgoing. I'm very extrovert in a large group of people. I have no trouble talking with strangers. I have no trouble making new friends. But at the same time, I'm also an introvert in the sense of when I'm thrown into a new situation, when I'm thrown into change, excuse me, it takes me a while to like get accustomed to that, and it takes me a while to like figure out where do I fit in. And I think that's with anybody like that's ever lived on earth. It just takes you a minute, right? And so when I moved, I just found myself in a place of like, not to crap on my family, like it wasn't so much of me missing my family that wasn't part of my loneliness. It was just I had an expectation and I had a vision in my head of what my life was going to be, and then when I got there and it wasn't that, it really hit me hard. It really took a toll on me. So yeah, basically, you know, exploring the city by myself, going to different museums by myself. Basically, Howard taught me, DC taught me how to be by myself. Yo, the UPS guy is just like walking the street and I don't understand. Is he waiting for someone? Like, I thought you just dropped the package off and leave. Let me mind my business. Sips tea. But it was just different. It was new. It was something that I didn't know how to handle. I didn't know how to cope with it. And the only thing that helped me cope with that was God, was His love and His guidance and His partnership. And like I've grown up in a Christian household. I've always been a Christian, always been a follower of God, but I never really had to step out by myself with God, if that makes sense. Like I always had my family or my parents praying for me or covering me, or like I never really had that love tested, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And so basically through my loneliness, I kind of refound Jesus, if I would even describe it like that. But you know, understanding and knowing and truly believing that I am not alone, that He lives inside of me, that He is my protector, that He is my friend, that He is everything that I will need and more. And as I started leaning more into Him, pressing more into His word, pressing more into His music, connecting to His spirit, to His realm, and listening more, looking out more for His communication with me, that loneliness began to lift, and it began to, you know, clear some things in my head, and it made me realize, you know, it help me pinpoint what about my situation makes me unhappy. Why does it make me unhappy? And, you know, again, referring to my last video, all those cons that I talked about made me unhappy, but I had a battle within myself because I wanted to stay. And it's like, Tori, why would you stay in a situation where on the daily you're not happy? But why? But you have this urge to stay because I was attracted to the clout. I was attracted to the celebrity. I was attracted to the image that Howard has made for itself. I talked about that, you know, kind of in depth, but it's addicting. Like, the phenomenon, the phantom behind being at Howard University, the status that comes with being at Howard University. I wanted that attached to my name. As far as housing goes, housing is something that I did try to stay at Howard. I did try to, you know, just be like, okay, I'm just gonna stay here for the education. I'm just gonna stay here for the title, for the name, and I'm just gonna not live on campus sophomore year. So me and my friends tried to find apartments in Virginia, in Maryland, and in DC, and it was just literally impossible. It was ridiculous. There's nothing more I can say on the matter. With basically, I would have ended up homeless. I couldn't have stayed in another Howard dorm. I refused to. The pricing for DC apartments is ridiculous, and I didn't have a way to commute. So if we were to move to Virginia or Maryland, I didn't have a car. I asked my dad if I could bring my car out there, and he hit me with that, laughed in my face. So I just couldn't stay at Howard. I couldn't. At that point, when I couldn't find housing, which was like my last resort of, okay, I'm just gonna stick it out, I'm just gonna do it, I realized once that didn't work out that wasn't a possibility. But at the end of the day, I had to sit back and realize, okay, what am I here for? What is the purpose of college? The purpose of college to me is to define yourself, to discover yourself, and to give you the most opportunities as possible, so that you can be as successful as possible. And when it came down to those 3 things, like, Howard just didn't cut it. It didn't give me what I need. So around Thanksgiving, I officially made the decision to transfer. I used Common Application again to start my transfer application. And then I had another internal battle of where to transfer to. I wanted to go to American because that was more of my, you know, my speed, my style, and it was still in DC, the city that I loved. I didn't want to leave DC. Like, I loved it. Even though it was ghetto and hood and whatever, I loved the city. I just loved it, okay? So I was like, okay, do I go to American? Do I go to George Washington? Do I go back to Alabama? I've always wanted to go to Alabama. That's my dream school, so why not just go to Alabama, apply early this time, get scholarships? I couldn't do that, simply for the fact of when I actually sat down and evaluated where I'm trying to go in life and who I want to be in life. My life is in Louisiana. And not only is my life in Louisiana, my connections are in Louisiana. My foundation is in Louisiana. So political science, most people think lawyer. I might get a law degree, but I don't necessarily want to be a lawyer. I hate the word politician, but I want to be governor of Louisiana. I want to be senator of Louisiana. I want to be that person for my generation and for the next generation of Louisianians. And it doesn't make sense to be at American University. It doesn't make sense to be at Alabama University when eventually my career has to be in Louisiana. My career starts in Louisiana. It might not finish in Louisiana, but it definitely starts in Louisiana. So that's how I made the decision to transfer to LSU, Baton Rouge, and major in political science. I haven't found a concentration yet, but I'm going to major in political science. I'm either going to do the Holmes program, where I'll graduate with a master's in teaching, or I'll do the 3+3 program, which I have been, accepted into, and I'll go on to JD Law School, LSU Law School. And if I do the Holmes program, I would probably do political science, whatever my concentration is, with a minor in either business administration or international affairs, plus the master's in teaching. I've always wanted to be a teacher ever since I was little. That was before the whole political science politician. I've always had a passion for teaching. My grandmother was a civics teacher at EA for 30 something years. So teaching has always been something that I've been interested in. Teaching has always been something that I felt connected to, and I feel like, with that path, I could definitely graduate from LSU with a master's in teaching, become a professor, become a high school or middle school teacher, and I could definitely have a political career, after spending some time there, learning, relearning my community, relearning the needs of my people, relearning the needs of this ever-changing education system, and making that one of my major platforms is education. So I needed to go to LSU, and LSU is a great school. The process has been wonderful so far. I actually scheduled my classes for fall 2020 yesterday. So housing wise, at home at LSU, in Louisiana, my sister is building a house, so I'm either gonna live with my sister, my oldest sister. She's building a house from scratch. Is that like a thing? Building a house from scratch? Well, she's building a house from scratch, and yeah, so I'm either gonna live with her and commute. It's like a 35-40 minute drive with traffic. Depending on the hours of my classes, it could probably be up to an hour. It's a little deep drive, but like, I live in Prairieville, and it's in like downtown Baton Rouge, which isn't that far, but it is that far with traffic. So yeah, I think that's how housing is going to shape up to be. It might change. If it does, I'll let you know, but so far that's how housing is. So basically, throughout this whole transferring journey, I really have grown. Howard has allowed me to grow as an adult, grow as a woman, grow as a critical thinker. I've never thought before. And that sounds crazy because you think every second of the day, but Howard really taught me how to critical think, how to dissect a question or an emotion or a choice and make a clear, concise decision and make one that, you know, ultimately makes me happy. So kudos, thank you, Howard, for giving me that experience. Thank you, Howard, for giving me that chance to do that and accomplish those things. And Howard is for most people. People love Howard, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. Isn't that like a video of mine or something? It is what it is. But yeah, another thing that I realize is that if you have the ability to change your circumstances in which you are unhappy, you should definitely do that. You should definitely think things through and make sure that's the best decision for you. Consult with God. Make sure that this is, you know, His will, His path for you. Something that, you know, make sure you and God are in agreement. But if you have the ability to change your circumstances, definitely heavily consider changing your circumstances, because you are a gem, you are precious, you are worthy, you are heir to a throne, you are heir to a kingdom. There is no reason why you should be in a situation, you know, that makes you unhappy. But at the same time, all situations help you grow and help you learn. So, you know, I think everything is for a season, everything is for a reason as well. And so I definitely needed to go to Howard. I definitely needed to go through the things that I went through to be able to become this person that I am today. And I wouldn't change that for anything. I don't regret that for anything. But I think people need to recognize and learn when it's time to move on and when it's time to change your circumstances. Forget to comment down below, what do you think my lifestyle portion or section of my YouTube channel should be? Health and fitness, skincare, religion, Christianity, journey, you know, growing your relationship with God, pranks. I'll probably just throw in pranks for fun just because I love to read. So if you want book reviews, I'm really into psychological thrillers, but just anything you think would fit me or you would want to see, just comment down below, hit the like button, and thank you so much. Once we reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to do something special. It's secret, I already know what it is, so I'm not punking you. It is special. And just tell your friends, tell your dog, tell your rabbit, your cat, I don't really know, but just have a great day, have a blessed week, and just wake up and thank God that you're breathing and that you're talking and that you're healthy. Okay? Have a good day. I'm Tori Leigh. It's so good to talk to you again. See you next Friday. Peace.